So show what you can now and show that you're a real leader and not a false prophet. Do it!
Μαζί μας, ο πρόεδρος της Συμμαχίας Φιλελεύθερων και Δημοκρατών στο Ευρωπαϊκό Κοινοβούλιο, πρώην πρωθυπουργός του Βελγίου, Γκι Φερχόφσταντ. Welcome, Mr. Φερχόφσταντ. So, who is Alexis Tsipras? A real leader or a false prophet, as you had wondered during those difficult hours in 2015?
Yeah. I don't know, but certainly he is not delivering for the moment the in-depth reforms he promised after his elections. That's the problem. Mm-hmm. And moreover, my impression is that Syriza is more and more becoming part of the system instead of the driving force to change the system.
The truth is that you've stated something that I've heard from many Europeans, that in the beginning you had believed that Syriza's government would bring down the clientelistic state in Greece. Is this true? Did you have that expectation?
I got that expectation because that was what he promised in the campaign. But I have seen that he has nominated his own clients, his own friends in some ministries, also in courts. Then the whole discussion around the limitation of the number of television stations. So my conclusion is that he makes the same mistake as PASOK a number of decades ago, and that he is becoming part of the system, that he is using the clientelistic system instead of changing it.
Are you estimating that the evaluation of the Greek program will be completed, or are we headed toward a new crisis in the Greek case?
I don't know, or could be a new crisis or so, but again, that doesn't change the fundamental problem. The fundamental problem is that even from the European side, we don't look to the real...
Of course, but this is very practical.
Yeah, I know, but even from the European side, we don't look to the real in-depth reform. So we are talking about reforms, but we don't mean real reforms. When Europe, the whole... how to say it, the wishes, the requests from the side of the Troika were, in my opinion, absolutely not about reforms. They are asking figures. They want, the right figures on the public debt, the right figures on the primary surplus, but it's not about reforms. Mm-hmm. Because what is happening is that Samaras, Venizelos, and now also Tsipras, they are asking simply more effort from ordinary citizens, from pensioners, from at the same time also from small and medium companies, because they are raising taxes on small and medium companies. Instead of doing in-depth reforms is something completely different than the measures that have been taken for years now. For me, it's eliminating the clientelistic system, is downsizing corruption, it is downsizing the public sector, it's privatizing the public banks, because there is no private banking sector in Greece. And that's the reason why it's so difficult for a young entrepreneur in Greece to find money, to find a credit for his investment. Open the professions, another in-depth reform. Open the professions, because a number of them are still closed for young people. That are in-depth reforms, and that has nothing to do with all the moderation of wages of people with already low wages, or cutting pensions of pensioners with low pensions, and that is in fact the tragedy for the moment. And Europe is certainly not helping in that respect.
The Greek taxpayer, at least the consistent Greek taxpayer, has reached to the point of paying in taxes and contributions more money than what he's earning. Is this sensible?
No.
How can we reduce?
One of the problems is also the level of taxation, and certainly the level of taxation, in my opinion, for those people who are active, creative, productive. So that is the worst thing to do. If you start to increase taxation on small and medium companies, then you are in fact killing the strongholds of the Greek economy. And it is certainly not also an encouragement to young people to start with a new business, with a new activity. So the privileges, for example, that exist in the Greek society, it can be the ship owners, it can be the church, it can be the political parties, who are all funded by the public banks, who receive loans from the public banks. That are the things to change.
Now, what is Europe's disease, Mr. Verhofstadt, and what is the treatment?
Well, Europe's disease is merely nationalism still. Europe is not more, the European Union is not more today than a loose confederation of nation states that is based on the rule of unanimity, and that doesn't work in the world of today. In the world of today, that leads always to measures that are taken too late and too little. We need a totally different European Union with a government controlled by a parliament, based on majority decision making, and with a serious budget. That is the way forward.
Is this the right moment with Euroscepticism to do it?
Yeah, it's exactly the moment to do it, because
it is the reason to do it.
The reason why people are falling in Euroscepticism is because they see the euro crisis, the refugee crisis, the security crisis, or geopolitical weakness, and they are saying, it doesn't work, so let's retreat behind our national borders. But we all know that retreating behind our national borders is not a solution.
One way or another, European countries close their borders, and thousands of refugees or immigrants are trapped in Greece. Who is responsible for this?
A lack of leadership in the European Union. From the beginning, it was clear what needed to be done. What needed to be done was to establish a European border and coast guard. At the moment we started with the Schengen area, so that we have a common management of our outside borders, and we didn't do that. We started with the last element, a relocation of the refugees. But the relocation of the refugees, nothing is happening. Not even thousands of these refugees have been relocated. So the problem is, it's a little bit like with the euro. When we introduced the euro, it was a very good project, but we forgot to establish also an economic government, a treasury, and so on and so on.
Where has Greece gone wrong?
Well, in Greece on this issue, there has been far too long a hesitation to accept a European border and coast guard. It's only a few, I should say, weeks ago that the Greek government is saying, okay, more or less, okay, that they can agree. They, like other countries, are still in the mood, border control is national sovereignty, but it's not longer national sovereignty. It's a shared sovereignty on the European level.
And what is the basic scenario from now on?
I hope that on the next European Council in a few weeks in March, there's going to be a change in the attitude of a number of countries. Certainly of those countries who are seeing also that outsourcing their problems to Turkey, that doesn't work either. And the second thing to do is not only to establish this European border and coast guard, but also to give direct financial assistance to the people living in the refugee camps, to take away the reason why they want to come. They need to come to Europe. They have to live there, with $7 a month. How you feed your children, organize your life with $7 a month.
So where would you bet your money? Will Europe come out stronger or devastated due to this crisis?
At the end, I think we're going to come out stronger of this. And my proposal also in the book is to use, for example, the discussion around the Brexit to do now a real in-depth treaty change to create these new institutions we desperately need at the European level.
On the one hand, Europe wants Britain in the EU, and this is more than welcome, of course. On the other hand, Britain has undermined almost every step toward the European integration. So what do we do?
No, we're going to stop this. The agreement that we have made with them now is very clear. We give them a special status. Well, they already have, in fact.
Yes.
They are not in Schengen, they are not in the euro, and so on. We give them a special status. And we promise even to put that into treaty at one condition. That is that we're going to make also treaty changes to go forward in our integration. And for once, it's going to be a win-win situation for both, for Britain and for Europe.
Between the two, who is the most liberal politician in Greece? Σταύρος Θεοδωράκης or Κυριάκος Μητσοτάκης?
I didn't know that you have such questions. I hope both. I'm working together with everybody who is a reformist, liberal-minded, and I hope that at least both of them are reformist and liberal-minded.
Thank you, Mr. Verhofstadt.